How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech and also to another tech news video. Now, unfortunately, we missed yesterday's news, but we're going to catch up with everything that's happening on today and then also some stuff that happened yesterday. So starting off, gaming monitors have become a key part in our setups, but it's about to get even better with BOE having produced a prototype monitor with a refresh rate up to 500 Hz with a 1 millisecond response time. The model has a 27-inch Full HD panel and has a high mobility oxide back plane to achieve that blistering high speeds. Now remember, this is still a prototype, so I don't think we're going to get it anytime soon, but it's pretty crazy, but also don't think it's going to be that useful because not a lot of people even go 360 Hz yet, so 500 maybe a bit overkill, but we'll see. Then next up, GPU shortage of course is a plain headache for all of us, but Intel is apparently working hard to get millions of their Arc GPUs into the market every year. Although Intel has been a bit quiet lately about their Arc GPUs, they have reaffirmed a Q1 2022 date, so we're almost there. Now, unfortunately, no idea when we'll actually be able to get our hands on it though, but hopefully it will help out with the GPU shortage and then also just give all of us some additional options to get our hands on GPUs and possibly light a fire a bit under Nvidia and AMD as well, GPU wise. Then next up, Intel has been teasing us with the 12900KS for a while now, which is basically a pre-bin version of their 12900K i9. But now at least we do have some Cinebench R23 benchmarks to see how it stacks up. The 12900KS is a 16-core 24-threaded CPU with a single core boosting up to 5.5 GHz. The CPU apparently scored 29,519 points in the Cinebench R23 multi-core test, which is pretty much as expected, as the 12900K scored roughly around the 27,000 mark. So almost around 10% more there just from the binned CPU. Not bad if you want to get peak performance. Then next up, Nvidia is making the largest GPU ever with their G100 Hopper, measuring in at about 1,000 square millimeters. This die size is for the single GU100 GPU chip. And there are rumors floating around about the Hopper will be Nvidia's first MCM chip design, considering that we get at least 2 Hopper GH100 GPUs on the same interpose. The dies alone would measure 2,000 square millimeters. Never talked about square millimeters before. Although most of the specs are still unknown, it will most likely have a 5nm node and have up to 100 gigs of HBM2E VRAM at 2.5 GHz. It's also good to remember that these are just server-based GPUs, so don't expect to put one of those in your personal system because yeah, it's definitely not going to fit and you're going to pay so much for it. Then next up for Apple news, we are expecting a redesigned version of the iMac Pro to come out later this year with some other goodies from Apple to launch with it as well. The current version of the 27-inch iMac is still running on the Intel chips, and we will see the redesigned version featuring their new M1 Pro or M1 Max chips, which again just blew me out of the water actually how good they are. Now, we also heard rumors that the 27-inch iMac Pro will feature a mini LED panel with a Pro Motion technology, which is just astounding again. Now, unlike the M1 iMac, we might not be getting the different colors on the Pro version, as it has almost always have the very plain design. Now, also expected this year will be the new iPhone SE 3 or the 2022 iPhone SE with the faster chip and also 5G connectivity. There's also going to be a new iPad Air 5 with the new A15 Bionics chip, and then of course their new AirPods Pro with enhanced sound quality and design. So for all of the Apple fans out there, you do have a few little things are coming your way. Then next up, we have also seen that the OGs has taken back the #1 spot on a 3D Mark Firestrike with the RX 6900 XT managing a score of 63,361 overall and 80,281 graphics score in Firestrike Standard. Then in Firestrike Ultra, it scored 40,304 in overall and 42,891 in graphics score. And then lastly, in Ultra, it scored an overall score of 19,304 and graphics at 19,108. Now, unfortunately, this card was being pushed with LN2 cooling, but it did reach a maximum of 3.3 GHz using that, and also on a system with the i9 12900K to an insane 6.9 GHz on all cores. It was using the Asus Maximus ROG Z690 Apex motherboard with a 2 G-Skill Trident Z5 memory modules. Then next up, it has been reported that some customers of Seagate have been shipped their new Seagate Ironwolf Pro, which does have a 22 terabytes of storage. The previous top storage model was only packed at 20 terabytes only, so it is at least a 10% increase. The drive uses SMR, which according to Ars Technica is fine for archiving storage, but not as much for servers where multiple users are regularly accessing and modifying data. So if you want to back up your entire Steam library, then this might be the drive for you, especially because it has 2 terabytes or more. 20 terabytes, 22 terabytes, that's honestly crazy. Then next up, just like Microsoft, Sony has now made a big acquisition, also buying Bungie for $3.6 billion. Bungie was the original developers behind Halo, but that has since released the title from their holdings. Their main game now is of course Destiny. Although it seems like Sony is going on the defensive with Microsoft, the deal actually has been in the pipeline for quite a while now. Sony plans to keep Bungie as an independent multi-platform studio and publisher. So at least Destiny 2 will still be available on all platforms, but for how long will it? We'll have to wait and see. Then next up, the 6000 series AMD mobile CPUs have been a bigger topic with us. Now currently there are leaks of the top container from AMD, the 6900HX, which is 33% faster than the previous version, the 5900HX, but it's also 30% slower than the 12900HY. So specs, the 6900HX will have 8 cores and 16 threads, so again less than the 12900K, but it will still feature 16 megabytes of L3 cache and 4 megabytes of L2 cache. For the base clock is running at 3.3 GHz, and for boost it goes up to 4.9 GHz. The HX series processors will come with a higher thermal range, and TDPs are rated beyond 45 watts, again being mobile CPUs, which usually maxes out at 45 watts. Additionally, because it's a mobile chip, we are also getting the RDNA 2 graphics architecture as well. The top CPUs will have the Radeon 680M GPU with 12 compute units and 768 cores, which will be clocked around 2 GHz. The APUs will also have the option of a low power DDR4X and DDR5 for faster bandwidth. Leaked scores show that the best results from Geekbench 5 was that for single core it reached 1616 points, with the multi-threaded score being 10,151. And with the 12900H from Intel, that one scored in single cores 1962 and multi-threaded scores 14,542. So it is still quite a bit higher than the AMD version, unfortunately, but we'll have to see actually how it performs in the real world. But now that's pretty much it for our tech news for today. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. And I will check all of you guys tomorrow for some additional tech news. Cheers, guys.